the worst WrestleMania of all time. Just when I thought it couldn't get any worse than last year, they go ahead and they pull a new all-time low. This pay-per-view was garbage from beginning to end. From the moment the show started with that midget leprechaun and his dad going up against the $1 Million Man fat version to the time it ended with the most predictable title change in WrestleMania history, I couldn't believe the crap I was watching. And you people defend this crap. When your main attraction is Old Man Rick going up against the He's Bald Kid, you know that you are completely pathetic. A balding rocker versus a 60-year-old? What the hell is wrong with you? This pay-per-view completely, utterly sucked from top to bottom. The set design, it sucked. The lighting, when they had it, it sucked. Chavo and his hair transplant, they both sucked. And Edge? I'd rather watch Gangrel sucking Triple H's dick with his fangs while in a reverse pedigree than watch that mid-carder in my main event, because he sucks. Batista, we all know he sucks. And the Diva match, which consists of people that should be going to see politicians and not at WrestleMania, it sucked. Even the commentators sucked. Even the cameraman sucked. Even the people behind the scenes, backstage, even the people bring cookies to the stars, they sucked. And just when I thought it couldn't get any worse, here comes that spinny belt loving, average age of 9, chain gang leading motherfucker walking down the aisle like a stupid asshole. Marching band? What does he think this is? The Macy's Day Parade? Stupid, ugly, deformed, big-jawed motherfucker. I know why he has that stupid look on his face all the time. It's because he's a deformed motherfucker. His dick is in reverse position with his anus, so he has to sit down to pee, and I don't even want to think about how he shits.
It's PS Power, motherfucker!
You know, ever since my last video where I criticized the match star rating system for judging a wrestling product, people have asked me, how would you review it then? What is the PS Power system? Well, I think a good place to start would be to look at what comprises a big pay-per-view event. As I said in my last video, I think most people would agree that the pay-per-view event, such as WrestleMania, comprises 3 main elements: the moments before, the pay-per-view itself, and the fallout from the pay-per-view. In other words, the build-up, the payoff, and the aftermath. I think most would agree on these 3 components, which will be our framework as we go along. And for now, I think we can just use the standard 1 to 10 rating system. But before we start, let's get something clear. People bash reviewers who give scores too low. Well, what about people who give scores too high? After every single pay-per-view, you see people on here casually tossing out 9s and even 10s. It's ridiculous. A 10 is the highest you can get. 9s and 10s should be reserved for the absolute best. They should be super rare. Heck, even 8s should be uncommon. In my opinion, when people are just tossing out 9s and 10s like they're nothing, it ruins the credibility of their reviews and downplays the true greats in history. I would not give Bound for Glory a 9, and this WrestleMania that just happened won't get a 9 either. Keep this in mind. Now let's apply this to review WrestleMania 24. Let's not spend too much time on the build-up section because I think we're all in general agreement. It was mediocre. Matches announced with virtually zero build-up and generic storytelling leading to a mediocre card. A signature of this subpar era that I give a 4.5. I mean, go ahead, push it to a 5 if you want, but we all get the idea. Now let's just quickly move on to the pay-per-view, the payoff section, which was the surprising part. Okay, someone back there in the WWE needs a raise, okay? Because someone made this pay-per-view so much more special than it should have been. Someone took this weak-ass lead-in, leading to a mediocre card, and transformed it into something special, okay? The pay-per-view itself was like so superior to the lead-up to it, right? It was like it's almost made by different people. You know, it's like almost as if like a college student directed the first third of a movie, then at the end Steven Spielberg walks in and says, okay, I'll take the rest. There is a dramatic difference in quality. Now let's split this middle part up into 4 sections that I think we all value to a degree. First, emotion-wise, I wasn't as driven for this pay-per-view as for past WrestleManias, but this had more to do with the mediocre lead-up than the pay-per-view itself, but I give it about a 5. I was looking at it more like a SummerSlam. Star power is also something that the WWE will need to address soon. There was no equivalent on this show of Hogan or Austin in their primes, and the 3 biggest stars of the show, HBK, Taker, and Flair, are all aging products of previous generations. Match-wise, and this is what the star ratings solely focus on, it was solid. Even though the card was weak, they somehow managed to pull it off, and I have to reward that. I give that a 7.5. Memorable moments in the section where this WrestleMania, reigns supreme. The Ric Flair thing is unforgettable and is what this pay-per-view will always be remembered for. I said that 8 should be uncommon, but woo! Is someone like Flair certainly uncommon. Overall, I'd give this show about a 7.5, but if you wanted to push it more towards an 8, I wouldn't even argue with it that much. This pay-per-view was more than it should have been. Now look at this picture. I think so far it tells the story of WrestleMania 24 pretty well. A weak build-up to a show that over-delivered based on matches and memories. Now, isn't this better than just saying 3 stars? The Ric Flair vs. Shawn Michaels match, like Hogan Warrior and Hogan Rock before it, is a prime example of meaning to more than just a match, because the match itself, while solid, was pretty much textbook. Clotheslines, body slams, suplexes, about 10,000 chops, but that wasn't the main draw of this match. The main draw of this match was the meaning behind it. Our knowledge of the moments before, leading up to this match, the end of a 35-year career versus Mr. WrestleMania. And because you were here for it, because you lived through it, because you lived through this context, you understand this match in a way that kids of the future never will. They'll just never get the full experience. Do you understand the flaws of some kid of the future looking back at this WrestleMania match and saying, 2 stars, 3 stars, it wasn't that special? Or you doing the same to WrestleManias before your time? The final section is the aftermath section, which for now remains unknown. You know, there's a running misconception around here that us TNA fans will somehow unreasonably bash the WWE no matter what. That even if they do something good, we'll just ignore it and keep bashing them, which is false. You see, the ironic thing about this situation is that many of us TNA fans are actually longer-term WWE fans than a lot of these WWE fanboys that defend it blindly. We've been around, we know what's going on, which is why even when the WWE does something good, we are so reluctant to reattach our interests because of the aftermath. Because we have been let down and disappointed so many times over the last few years, where every time there's a glimmer of hope, a good show, a possible fresh storyline, who attacked HBK, who's Vince McMahon's son, we have been completely disappointed. Okay? The aftermath. It's not about, haha, this particular show was better than you expected, in your face. It's about this aftermath. It's about, can you tell us that this time it will be any different? Can you tell us that this time it won't sink back down to its usual low level? That it won't be Cena coming back in 2 months and killing the roster again? That it won't be the same old main event of Orton and Triple H dragging on into the summer? That this time the WWE really has turned the corner? That this time there will be rich storyline? That this time there will be fresh new developing characters, a young new cast in the main event to bring a surge of new excitement and appeal? A fresh era, a new, better generation. Can you tell us that? Because it is this aftermath that is the last part of my review to cement the legacy of what this WrestleMania really was about. So can you tell us that? Can you look at all us TNA fans, all us former fans, all us wrestling fans in the face and tell us that this time the aftermath will be any different than all the other times? Can you tell us that? Or not?
Oh wait, this thing's still on? Oh shit.